As our population grows bigger across the world, there's a slew of concerns that come with that, and one of the main concerns is the spread of infectious diseases. Thankfully, here in the United States, we have the ability to manufacture and provide vaccinations to the vast majority of the public. However, there are concerns with vaccinations, and there's a good majority of parents who have decided that vaccinations are not for them and not for their children. And this has slowly started to affect the amount of children that go to public schools that are vaccinated. So this year in 2015, California decided that in order to go and attend public schools, it's mandatory for your students to be vaccinated. They got rid of religious waivers, and they got rid of philosophical waivers. Now the only thing that exists is a medical exemption. And for that, you have to go to a reputable doctor and find a waiver that states that you have a legitimate medical reason why your kid cannot be vaccinated due to allergies, cancer, if their immune system is already compromised. In 2013, Colorado had 86% of their public schools vaccinated. 86% of the student body had received their vaccinations. And this seems like a good number, but in Mississippi, where there are no religious or philosophical waivers, 99% of the public school system has their vaccinations. On June 30th, according to the National Vaccine Registry, this is when June 30th, 2015, California signed SB 277, and this is the bill that states that the only waiver that you have in order to attend public school is a medical exemption. A paper written by Cioli states that less than half of California is vaccinated, and not vaccinating affects our herd immunity. Herd immunity is what protects people that cannot be vaccinated. When you have a group of people that all have their vaccinations and 2 people in this group don't, well, the herd immunity finds a way to protect those individuals that are unable to get their vaccinations. When you have a group of people that are not vaccinated, herd immunity declines and doesn't exist anymore. The problem with California's new public school system law is that, well, initially we were founded on the basis of religious freedom, and you're taking that right away when you require vaccinations and don't allow for religious waivers. Just as well, education should be a right for kids, and they shouldn't be punished because their parents have decided that vaccinations are not something their family wants to participate in, and they may not necessarily have the other means to find alternative methods of education. And those are the big issues that California is facing right now. However, it is still law that you have to now be vaccinated in order to attend public schools. Last year, MMR, as the measles, mumps, rubella, infected 40 people in California. It started at Disneyland. Anybody that visited Disneyland got affected by this, and it spread to 12 other states, and the problem is it spread to 12 babies that are unable to vaccinate themselves because of their age. And this is according to the CDC website. 26 states don't meet the 95% vaccination government rate. 26 states. There is a 95% vaccination rate for kindergarten students. However, this is not evenly spread throughout the United States, which is a big problem. You have clusters of areas where there is a high vaccination rate, and you have clusters of areas where there is not a good vaccination rate. And again, this is a problem because it affects babies, it affects the elderly, it affects people that have cancer and are already immunocompromised and cannot get these vaccinations. And this is very important because they need to be protected. And it's banking on negligence that these vaccination rates are declining. Vaccinations are a great way to stay healthy and protect the people that are not able to protect themselves. But at the same time, everybody has the right to make these decisions for themselves. And California opting out of the religious waiver is a huge issue that needs to be addressed. However, they are at least addressing the fact that less than half of their public school system has been properly vaccinated on the schedule that the government recommends. Without being vaccinated on schedule, we risk spreading diseases. One of the biggest issues is last year California faced, or the United States as a whole faced its first MMR death in over 10 years. And this is due to the fact that people have stopped vaccinating. And while California has done a great job of trying to fix this issue, we also need to take into consideration that people have inalienable rights that cannot be taken away. And while I support the fact that California has decided to be proactive in their vaccination stances, we also need to think about people and their right to make medical decisions for themselves and their families. However, we cannot forget the fact that we also need to protect those who cannot protect themselves.